Well, now we find out that this wallet tied to Do Kown and tied to Terraform Labs had over 5,000 Bitcoin, 5,200 that could have been used to defend the peg, to keep it propped up, and really be able to give back to a lot of the people that lost just tons of money in this collapse.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of WAGME TV. Today, the topic of the day is the one and only Do Kown. Of course, we already know that Do Kown is one of the sketchiest men on the face of the earth, but more information has surfaced recently on that. Basically, he's more sketchier than we ever thought. So, I'm going to throw it over to Evan. He's going to take you through what the news is, and we're going to break it down for you. Go ahead, Ev.
Yeah, so the man who committed tons of financial fraud seems to have committed more. In a tale as old as time, Do Kown decided to steal more funds from his users, and essentially what Arkham Bounty and the Arkham sleuths found this week was there was a Terra wallet connected to Do Kown that had around $160 million worth of Bitcoin in there. And so, this is a big deal, one, because it's Do Kown, and we all know how sketchy he is. But really, two, because of the previous claim by the Luna Foundation Guard when the Terra Luna project was collapsing. They said they only had 313 Bitcoin in reserve. And so, this was something where this was really the reason why the peg collapsed. They weren't able to defend it because they didn't have the reserves to really prop up the peg. Well, now we find out that this wallet tied to Do Kown and tied to Terraform Labs had over 5,000 Bitcoin, 5,200 in there. And so, this is something, this is funds that could have been used to defend the peg, to keep it propped up, and really, be able to give back to a lot of the people that lost just tons of money in this collapse. I think it was close to, was it 40 billion, 80 billion? One of those is FTX and the other is, Terra Luna. But yeah, this is really something that is just another piece of evidence that can be used against Do Kown and his hearing, and really how he mistrusted or basically misused all of the funds that the investors gave him. So yeah, interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this and all this Bitcoin that was found in this wallet.
Yeah,
so much for steady lads deploying more capital.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
Yeah, basically he was like steady lads, and he was just pocketing the capital, not deploying it. So there's a couple of things I think are kind of interesting. One is how this was even discovered in the first place. So for those that don't know, Arkham is a platform where basically you can do a lot of like data analytics as it pertains to wallet tracking. And so you're able to build out very complex visualizations and trees and stuff to track funds and, funds that went from one wallet to the other, and like really trace them down and try to build a tree and kind of create that story of what's going on here. So it's really interesting that, that platform was used to actually uncover this in the first place. The other thing that's interesting about Arkham is that they actually have, I believe they've started, or they're going to start doing bounties. So, different organizations can put up bounties on like, oh, we got hacked and we want to find who did it. Like, we're going to put up a bounty, and then people just, anonymous people out there on the web that use Arkham as a, data analytics platform can go in and help, the greater good and do that bounty if they're able to find who did some sort of malicious act. So it seems like this might have been funded through something like that, which is really interesting. So that's the first thing on just generally how this was discovered in the first place. Then we get to the the actual issue itself, which is the fact that they had like 5,000 Bitcoin sitting there and chose to do nothing with it. I think more likely than not, what they discovered is, because even, given the hairiness of the situation with the UST peg and everything that was happening at that time last May, it's hard to imagine that 160 million probably could have helped, but maybe it probably wouldn't have saved UST, especially when it really started downward spiraling. So I could see a scenario where they basically said, okay, steady lads deploying capital and literally just were like, it's not, we could risk this Bitcoin and like lose it, or we could just steal it. And I feel like they just stole it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, it seems like there was a lot of efforts made to spread out these different digital assets that they had stolen from this platform and spread them across different wallets. I don't think this is the first time we found, or sleuths have found, wallets of, Terraform Labs members that held, tokens that were connected to that. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that front. I think one other thing we can give a shout out to the devs that were able to, let me actually switch over to uncover this. So Ergo BTC, this was a tweet from Arkham Intel, just like you said, Zoe. So this was a bounty put together by Arkham, and we had an anonymous sleuth and Ergo BTC were successful bounty hunters in finding this. And so huge shout out to them. I think they had a reward of 5K. I would say it's maybe worth a little more than that, but congratulations to those guys for finding that.
Crazy. Mata, any thoughts?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I think you guys kind of nailed it on the head here. I mean, as more comes out, the more you see, terrible, probably of a person that Do Kown was, and how he brought a lot of people. So I think more and more of this will continue to come out, and it'll all be used as kind of ammo against him in a lot of these situations. So more to come on this, I'm sure. But definitely, I guess, a little bit excited to see that all go down and see everything that comes out of it.
Absolutely. Now, to the viewers, we'd love to know your thoughts on this situation, Do Kown, this money that was recovered or at least found, and what your guys' thoughts are. So definitely let us know in the comments down below. As always, if you found any of this useful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one here on WagMe TV.